Being source. I teach you can be source of your actions. You can be source of your speaking. You can be source of your attention, of where your attention goes. You can be source of your thoughts and your emotions. And that these are different levels of being source. I say that it's the easiest to be source of your actions, okay? And that means you can start an action, you can stop an action, you can change an action. Those are the signs that you are a source of your actions. And what I mean by being source, as you've surmised, is that your actions don't always have to be automatic, okay? Unconscious, subconscious. So when you're being source of your actions, you are acting consciously. You see, these movements I'm doing right here and right now are actually conscious movements. They're not automatic movements such as this might be. If I go like this or like this, those would be unconscious movements. The second easiest is being source of your speech. When you are source of your speech, you can start and stop speaking. Okay? And many people are not source of their speech. They just ramble on and on and on and on without any awareness of what they're saying. And as such, because they're rarely source of their actions and their speech, they create negative realities for themselves. The next level of sourceness, so to speak, is being source of your attention. And that's a little bit more tricky. It's an advanced level of being source. When you're source of your attention, you determine where it focuses, when it focuses, when you don't focus, when you just keep it open and in the flow. When you release attention from something, when you unstick it from something, when you get more deeply into something, how long to focus, and so forth and so on. And I'd say if you take a walk through town and observe people for a while, you'll notice that most people are not source of their attention at any time. In fact, most people don't even know that they can be source of their attention. The next level of sourceness is to be source of your thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions kind of go hand in hand. When you have a thought, you usually have an emotion. And the way to do that is, the way to be source of a thought is to just create a thought of your own instead of waiting for the outside world to provide thoughts for you. Okay? So those are 4 levels of sourceness that you can achieve. 4 levels of being conscious that you can achieve. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do conscious actions all the time or be conscious of your speaking all the time. Things that work well, things that are in the flow, they should be subconscious. They shouldn't be made conscious, okay? You don't want to bother the things that are working well, the things that are in the flow. For example, when you're driving a car, most of your actions and movements are actually subconscious, and they work well for you. And you don't have to go and make each action conscious while you're driving. It's an automatic flow, an automatic momentum that is working for your life. But let's say your driving starts to become erratic, and you start almost making accidents, almost bumping into others. And this happens a few times. What you want to do when things start getting out of hand or going downhill is you want to stop and make your actions in regards to driving more conscious and slow down. Okay? Another example I like to give is learning a skill. Let's say you learn dancing, and as you start to learn the dance moves, you begin slowly, okay? Begin slowly with certain moves, and as you learn more and more, as you focus more and more, you start to get better and your moves start to become unconscious. You start to gain unconscious competence, subconscious competence. And it gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and you get better and better and better, till finally you dance like a master. And it's all subconscious. It's all happens effortlessly by itself. And to an outsider who hasn't studied dancing that way, it does look like magic. Okay? But what happens if a mistake comes into your dancing? Okay? You've become this professional, and a mistake creeps in. So again, you stop and you become conscious of the mistake. You slow down and you look at the mistake consciously. You correct it to what you want instead, and then you start again and you practice that movement slowly. It goes quicker and quicker and more pro, until you're back in the flow. What I just said is a metaphor for all of life and all of reality creation. You can utilize the subconscious, the automatic, and you can stop it to your benefit and become more conscious again, and then more subconscious, and more conscious, more subconscious. Okay? There's one exercise that I sometimes do to practice being source of my actions. And it goes like this. I'll demonstrate it to you. So I begin by sitting or standing. And for about 15 minutes, sometimes longer, every single action that I do, I first intend. So I might say, okay, I raise both of my arms now. I lower both of my arms. I raise the right arm. I lower the right arm. I look to the right. I look to the left. I walk one step to the left. I walk one step to the right. You see, what I'm doing here is programming my body and being that the things I say, my word, my intentions come true. That's one of the benefits of this exercise. The other thing I'm doing here is becoming 100% source, 100% conscious. It's a very powerful exercise. Now, throughout the exercise, you might notice a few unconscious or subconscious actions. Watch me closely. I walk to the right. I walk to the left. Did you see it? Did you see the unconscious action? It was this. I was adjusting my watch, okay? It's something I often do in the daytime. It's an unconscious act I'm not even aware of. Now, a friend of mine pointed it out to me recently, and in that moment I became aware of it. It's something I keep doing, and that's no big deal, okay? It's a small unconscious action. But what about the unconscious actions in your life that are not so beneficial, that are not good, that destroy your life? Bad habits, for example. So suppose I wanted to get rid of this habit to keep arranging my watch. I go like this. I do it consciously several times. Watch me. I arrange my watch. I arrange my watch. I arrange my watch. I arrange my watch. I turn my head to the right. I turn my head to the left. I arrange my watch. I turn my head straight. Okay? So the things you do on purpose and consciously, you regain conscious control over. And you can do this with any habit. You can do it with smoking, drinking, with nervous tics that you might have. Anything you bring to anything non-beneficial that you make fully conscious loses its power over you. If there's something in your day that you don't like how it's going, and it keeps happening subconsciously, because you're creating it subconsciously, all you have to do is bring it to full consciousness, perhaps do it on purpose, as crazy as that sounds, and it's going to start dissolving, especially if you know what you want instead. Okay, so if this doesn't work, if I still unconsciously grab this, I might want to add the alternative. What I want to do instead of grabbing my watch. Instead of grabbing my watch, I'll take a deep breath. Every time I feel the urge to grab my watch, I'll take a breath. So let's try this. Okay, and then days might go by, and it might be gone already. But then again, I feel that, or I catch myself doing the unconscious act. And in that moment, I stop myself and take the breath. And I just repeat that until I've regained full control of the issue or the problem. Now, please realize that this example is a very small example, because grabbing my watch and adjusting it is really no big deal, okay? So that's the level of conscious action. The next advanced level is conscious speaking and unconscious speaking, and the same applies, okay? People talk on and on and on and on and on, and they don't stop speaking. And one way to improve the power of your speech, the vocabulary you use, and what effect your speech has, is to speak a little bit less in general, to have more pauses in your speaking before you speed up again and before you get louder. The dancing example of earlier is a good example of that, okay? You learn dancing, you go quicker and quicker and quicker, and when a mistake comes in, when negativity comes in, you slow down again. So before improving your speech, before getting quick again and strong and loud, you might want to slow down again and check, is what I'm saying, is that which I'm saying positive? Does it contribute? Is it intelligent? Is it helpful? Am I speaking a positive reality? The next level is being source of your attention, and that's really as simple as throughout the day, once in a while, asking yourself, where's my attention right now? Or where's my attention been for the last hours or for the last minutes? And do I, in fact, want my attention to be there? Do I want my awareness to be where it's been? If so, okay, and if not, where would I like my attention to be instead? You can actually write these 3 questions down. You can hang them up somewhere in your apartment, or you can set an alarm in your smartphone, and to ask yourself these questions once in a while. And if you do that for several weeks, you kind of get into it, okay? The first question is, where is my attention right now, or where has it been in the last hours? The second question is, do I want my attention to be there? And the third question is, where else could my attention be? You write those 3 down, you put them on a piece of paper or in your computer, somewhere where you see them every day. And once in a while throughout the day, in any situation, with any person, wherever you are, you just ask yourself those 3 questions. And then the final level, being source of your thoughts. Let's try this for a moment. Close your eyes. And take note of the thoughts you're having right now. The thoughts you're not source of, they just come up. And then create a thought of your own into that, and just hold it. You should be source of at least 1 thought a day, okay? You don't want 100% of your life being outside of your control. Hold that thought. And hold it some more. And still hold it. Don't stop. So if at least 5% of your thoughts could be sourced by yourself, at least 20% of your attention could be sourced by yourself, and at least 50% of your speaking and your actions could be sourced by yourself, that would be enough for very, very major improvement. Spectacular improvement. My name is Fred Dodson. Thank you for listening.